She says she's loyal. But why is she still posting bikini thirst traps and texting her ex at midnight? Let me guess. You think you're the exception. Let me wake you up. You ever notice how the people who scream the loudest about being loyal are usually the ones who prove they're not? That's not an accident. That's the game. Here's the truth. Most men don't want to admit. Betrayal is one of the deepest cuts you'll ever feel. And the worst part, you usually saw it coming. You saw the late-night texts. You saw the flirty posts. You heard the stories about her crazy past. And instead of facing it, you convinced yourself it was nothing. You painted red flags green because you didn't want to lose her. I get it. She's beautiful. You're lonely. You tell yourself she's different. You tell yourself this time will be the exception. But deep down, you know something's off. Every instinct is screaming at you. But you silence it because you want to believe in the fantasy. Here's the hard reality. Loyalty isn't something you can buy, build, or beg for. It's either in her DNA or it's not. And if it's not, nothing you do will change that. That's why today, I'm going to expose the signs most men ignore until it's too late. The signs that prove a woman will never be loyal to you, no matter how hard you try. This isn't just about her. This is about protecting your time, your heart, and your sanity. So before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop a comment telling me the biggest red flag you've ignored in the past. Because once you hear these signs, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. The first and loudest sign is how she presents herself to the world. If she dresses like she's for sale, it's because she is. You can call it fashion, you can call it self-expression, but let's be honest, when her clothes scream for attention, it's not for you. You already bought the product. She's advertising for every other man who's watching. Of course, she'll defend it with the same tired excuse I dress for myself. But let's get real. Nobody spends 2 hours blending makeup, torturing their feet in 6-inch heels, squeezing into outfits that cut off circulation just to feel good. That's not empowerment. That's marketing. And women who market themselves for attention are no different from addicts. They crave the high of being noticed. And like addicts, one source is never enough. They need multiple streams. They need backup suppliers when one runs dry. I once knew a woman who lived like this. She wore the same revealing outfits everywhere. Grocery shopping, church, even parent-teacher meetings. She insisted it was just about feeling pretty. But you don't dress like a billboard unless you're selling something. Years later, she's on her 4th marriage. Every single husband was cheated on. Why? 'Cause the attention of one man was never enough to keep her satisfied. She needed validation from everyone, all the time. And in today's world, that hunger doesn't stop at clothes. It explodes on social media. If her Instagram looks like an audition for OnlyFans, if she's posting thirst traps while in a committed relationship, if she's replying to random men in her DMs with flirty emojis, then wake up. You're not her boyfriend. You're part of her fan base. She's not building intimacy. She's building reach. She doesn't want loyalty. She wants an audience. And an audience is supposed to grow, not stay faithful to one person. So when a man says, "But she comes home to me," I can only shake my head. Maybe for now. But if she's constantly advertising herself to the entire world, eventually someone will step in with a better offer. And when that day comes, it won't be a matter of if she leaves. It'll be a matter of when. The second sign hides in her past, and this is where most men fool themselves. If she was wild before you, she'll be wild after you. Don't buy into the fantasy that you'll be the one who changes her. Party girls don't retire just because they met a good man. They just get better at hiding it. If she brags about her crazy college nights, if she laughs about blacking out, if she calls it her wild phase but her eyes light up when she tells the stories, understand what you're really hearing. That isn't nostalgia, that's craving. Those urges didn't disappear. They're sleeping. And one day, they'll wake up. Think about it like an alcoholic. When someone says, "I used to drink," what they really means, "I still want to, but I'm holding it back." The desire doesn't vanish, it lingers. And the moment life gets boring, stressful, or too routine, it comes roaring back. Who represents routine more than a long-term boyfriend or husband? You do. So when the excitement fades, when real life feels too ordinary, she won't lean into stability. She'll chase the high again. I knew a successful businessman who learned this the hard way. He thought he could reform a party girl. She confessed her past, swore she'd changed, and he believed her. 2 years into marriage, he came home early and caught her with 2 men from her so-called past life. Her excuse, "I just needed to feel young again." That's when it hit him. The party never ends. It only pauses. This isn't just about psychology. It's about wiring. Years of chasing excitement carve patterns into the brain. Those patterns don't get erased. They just wait for the right trigger. Suddenly, she's reconnecting with old friends. Suddenly, she needs more girls' nights. Suddenly, she's downloading apps you've never heard of. It all looks harmless until you realize it's her old programming turning back on. Don't fool yourself. The party girl doesn't die. She hibernates. And you never know what season will wake her up again. If you ignore this sign, you're not protecting your relationship. You're volunteering to be the next casualty. The third sign is in her circle of friends. If she has more male friends than female friends, don't kid yourself, those aren't friends. That's a lineup. That's her safety net. Here's the reality most men ignore. Women understand women better than anyone. If other women don't like her, don't trust her, or quietly avoid her, that tells you more than anything she'll ever admit. Men, on the other hand, love being around her, but not because she's a great friend, because they're waiting for their chance, and she knows it. She keeps them close on purpose. Every late night just checking in text gives her a dopamine rush. Every compliment boosts her ego. Every dinner invite is an escape hatch in case things with you feel stale. She thrives on the attention. She cultivates it. And the more men she has orbiting around her, the safer she feels. Not safe in love, safe in options. Of course, she'll tell you. They're just friends. But let's be honest, men don't stick around women they're not interested in. They circle, they wait, they bide their time. And the day you slip, one of them steps up. I've watched it happen too many times. A friend of mine dated a woman like this. She had a dozen guy friends who constantly liked her photos, messaged her at midnight, invited her places without him. She swore it was innocent. 2 years later, one of those friends became her boyfriend the moment she got bored. Those men weren't friends. They were backups, and she kept them warm until she needed them. A loyal woman knows boundaries. She lets go of men who don't respect her relationship. She doesn't keep guys texting her at 11 p.m. She doesn't hold on to men who act like they're waiting for a spot to open. But the wrong kind of woman. She loves it. She wants the orbit. She wants the attention. She wants to know she has options. So ask yourself this: why does she need a roster of men in her corner? What can they give her that you don't already provide? The answer is simple. They're not adding value. They're standing in line. And she's the one keeping that line alive. The fourth sign shows up in how she talks about her past. Listen carefully, because this one is dangerous. If every single one of her exes was toxic, abusive, or a narcissist, and she was always the innocent victim who just loved too much, you need to wake up. One bad relationship that happens. 2, maybe she had bad luck, but if every guy before you was the problem, the common denominator isn't them, it's her. Here's the truth most men don't want to face. A woman who never takes responsibility for her past won't take responsibility for her future. If she always plays the victim, she's rehearsing a script. And guess who gets cast as the next villain? You don't. I watched this unfold with my cousin. His girlfriend told him all her exes were abusive. He thought he'd be different. He thought he'd heal her. 2 years later, she was telling people he was emotionally abusive while she was sleeping with his best friend. And the kicker, the best friend was helping her heal from trauma. The same trauma she created. That's how the cycle repeats. Women like this thrive on rewriting history. They paint themselves as powerless, so they never have to change. They stir chaos, blame the man, and then move on to the next guy who thinks he can save her. And when she betrays you, she'll already have her excuse ready. She'll say you didn't love her enough, you didn't pay enough attention, you didn't meet some impossible standard she made up that day. Compassion won't save you. Patience won't rewrite her patterns. Believing you're different only guarantees you'll be the next casualty. If every story she tells ends with her as the hero and every man as the villain, you're not hearing about her past. You're hearing the preview of your own future. So don't get fooled by the victim act. When she says, "All my exes were toxic," don't pity her. Pity yourself if you ignore it. Because the role of her next abuser, her next narcissist, her next bad guy that's already reserved for you. The 5th sign hides behind what looks like passion. Some women aren't in love with you. They're in love with chaos. They need drama the way most people need oxygen. When life is calm, they feel restless. When things are good, they start searching for problems. Peace feels like boredom to them, and boredom is their trigger. With women like this, cheating isn't about a lack of love. It's about chasing intensity, the thrill of sneaking around, the danger of getting caught, the high of doing something forbidden. To them, betrayal isn't destruction, it's stimulation. I knew a guy who thought he'd found stability. He was solid, dependable, steady. 5 years into the relationship, he believed he was building a strong future. Then one day, she cheated with her personal trainer. When he asked why, her answer was simple and terrifying. I felt dead inside. I needed to feel alive. That's not love. That's addiction. And no amount of loyalty or effort can cure it. Here's what men don't see. Drama addicts create storms just to feel the rush. They'll blow up your phone over something tiny. They'll accuse you of things you never did. They'll push you away just so they can pull you back. To them, the tears, the fights, the chaos that's not dysfunction, that's entertainment. And when ordinary fights stop giving them the thrill, they escalate, they cheat. Understand this, women who grew up in chaos are comfortable in chaos. They mistake it for passion. Calm feels like death, so they destroy it over and over again. It's not about you, it's about their wiring. And no matter how steady you are, you'll never outlove their addiction. So watch how she handles peace. Can she enjoy a quiet Sunday without creating problems? Can she sit in stability without starting a fire? If not, then it's only a matter of time. Because when drama addicts get bored, cheating becomes their next fix. Not because they hate you, but because chaos is their drug and betrayal is the purest hit they can get. The 6th sign is all about boundaries. And this one predicts everything. Pay attention to the little lines she crosses, because they reveal how she'll handle the big ones. If she can't respect the small rules, she will never respect the most important one, staying faithful. Maybe she insists on going through your phone, but keeps hers locked like a bank vault. Maybe she flirts with other men right in front of you, but explodes if you so much as smile at another woman. Maybe she sets rules for you that she refuses to follow herself. That's not a personality quirk. That's a warning. Boundaries aren't suggestions. They're tests of character. And if she fails the small tests, she will fail the big ones. Here's the truth men don't like to admit. Cheating doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in her mindset. It starts when she tells herself that rules don't apply to her. It starts with harmless DMs. It starts with brushing off the lines you try to draw. And once she learns she can cross those lines without consequence, she doesn't stop. She escalates. I had a friend who learned this the hard way. His girlfriend used to text male friends late at night. When he asked about it, she said, "Don't be insecure. It's just texting." He let it slide. A year later, she was sneaking out to meet one of those same friends. What started as breaking a small boundary turned into breaking the biggest one. A loyal woman doesn't see boundaries as restrictions. She sees them as respect. She honors them not because she has to, but because she values trust. But a disloyal woman, she treats boundaries like obstacles. She tests them to see how much she can get away with. That's not immaturity. That's her nature. So ask yourself this: if she can't respect, "Don't flirt with my friends," why would she respect "Don't betray me"? If she can't respect "Don't text your ex," why would she respect "Don't sleep with someone else"? It's all the same muscle. Different weights. And if she refuses to lift light, she'll never carry heavy. The seventh sign is speed. And no, not the drug, the pace of the relationship. If she falls in love with you overnight, if she says "I love you" after a week, if she's talking about moving in before you even know her middle name, don't mistake that for passion. It's not romance. It's instability. A woman who attaches instantly will detach just as fast. She's not falling for you as a person. She's falling for the idea of being in love. And the scariest part, these women are never truly single. They leapfrog from one relationship to the next like stepping stones across a river. There's always overlap. They don't let go of one man until the next one is waiting. And while you're imagining you've found the one, she's already scanning for the next option. I watched this happen to a friend of mine. He thought it was fate. She told him she loved him on their second date. She moved into his place within weeks. He thought, "This is destiny. No one has ever loved me like this." 3 months later, she ghosted him for another man she'd been texting the whole time. That wasn't love. That was desperation wrapped in intensity. Here's the difference. A loyal woman builds slowly. She takes time. She sets boundaries. She chooses carefully. But the instant girlfriend isn't choosing. She's grabbing whatever's available in the moment. And when she feels empty again, she'll grab the next one. Men get trapped because they misread it. They think, "She fell for me so fast. I must be special." No, you're not special. You're just available. You're the current host for her need to fill a void. And the moment she finds another host, she'll switch without hesitation. Understand this: instant love burns bright, but it burns out even faster. Real loyalty doesn't rush, it builds. So if it feels too good to be true at the start, it probably is. And when it ends, it won't be slow. It'll be sudden. The eighth sign is subtle but deadly. She compares you to other men. At first, it sounds harmless. She mentions her ex who was taller. She points out her friend's boyfriend who makes more money. She jokes about an actor with perfect abs. You brush it off. You think it's nothing. But it's not nothing. It's shopping. When a woman constantly compares you, she's not appreciating what she has. She's evaluating. She's keeping score. And here's the harsh reality right now. You might be winning. You might be the best option in her eyes today. But with women like this, the contest never ends. Every man she meets becomes another entry on her mental checklist. And eventually, someone will outscore you. A loyal woman doesn't think like that. She sees her man as incomparable, not flawless, not perfect, but hers. She doesn't weigh him against every man she encounters. She doesn't run constant comparisons in her head. She chose him, and that choice is final. But the comparison queen never stops choosing. Every day with her is a silent competition you don't even know you're in. And it always escalates. First, it's small comments. Jake's girlfriend is so lucky. He cooks for her. Then it becomes complaints. Why can't you be more like that? Eventually, it turns into justification. Marcus appreciates me more than you do. And Marcus, he's the guy she's already cheating with. I've seen this play out too many times. Men ignore the comparisons because they think they can prove themselves. They start working harder. They try to outshine ghosts. But the finish line keeps moving. No matter what you do, there will always be another man she'll measure you against. So remember this. If she's always comparing, she's not committed. She's browsing. And you're not her partner. You're her placeholder. A temporary winner in a game you can't win. The ninth sign is secrecy. And don't confuse it with privacy. Everyone deserves personal space. But when a woman builds walls around whole sections of her life, that's not privacy, it's compartmentalization. And compartmentalization means she's hiding something. Always. A loyal woman has nothing to fear. If her phone dies, she can hand you hers without hesitation. Her social media naturally includes you because you're already part of her world. Her friends know about you. Her routines blend with yours. She doesn't need locked doors because there are no secret rooms, but the wrong kind of woman. You'll feel those locked doors everywhere. Her phone is always face down. Her apps are locked. She has friends you've never met. Nights you're not invited to. Habits you're not allowed to question. And she'll frame it as independence. She'll say, "I just need space. Trust me." But deep down, you know it's not about trust. It's about separation. She's living multiple lives. And you're only part of one. I had a client who trusted his girlfriend's work phone. She insisted it was private, off limits. He wanted to show respect, so he never pushed. Months later, he discovered that phone wasn't for work at all. It was for dating apps. She wasn't just cheating. She had built an entire second existence, and he had no idea. That's the danger of secrecy. It's not just the lies, it's the structure. It's the ability to split her life into versions. Once she proves she can compartmentalize, understand this, she'll never stop. She'll always have hidden corners, hidden passwords, hidden stories. Loyal women don't need walls. They live in the open because they have nothing to hide. Disloyal women thrive behind barriers. And if you feel like you're only seeing half her world, it's because there's another half she doesn't want you to see. So ask yourself, are you really her partner? Or are you just the character she plays in one version of her life? If it feels like a double life, it's because it is. The 10th and final sign is also the harshest truth. Her past predicts her future. People don't erase patterns. They repeat them. If she's cheated before, she'll cheat again. If she's been the other woman before, she'll play that role again. If she's destroyed relationships in the past, she'll destroy yours too. Men love to believe they're the exception. They tell themselves, she'll never do that to me. I'm different. But betrayal doesn't work that way. Once a woman proves she's capable of crossing that line, the barrier is gone. And every time after that, it gets easier. What you call growth is usually just better acting. She hasn't become loyal. She's become more skilled at hiding disloyalty. I've heard every excuse. It was different back then. I was young. I've matured. But here's the reality. Time doesn't erase betrayal. It refines it. A woman who cheated at 20 isn't less dangerous at 30. She's more practiced, more subtle, more careful. That's not progress. That's evolution and deception. Trying to build a future with her is like building a house on quicksand. You can buy the best materials. You can put in endless work. You can pour your heart into every detail. But no matter what, it sinks because the foundation is rotten. The base is corrupted. The core is broken. Don't let her stories about the past trick you. Don't fall for the idea that you're special enough to change her. History doesn't lie. If betrayal exists in her past, it's waiting in her future. And if you ignore this sign, you're not stepping into love. You're volunteering for heartbreak. So when you hear, "That was the old me," don't believe it. Because the old her and the new her are the same. The only difference is that now she knows how to hide it better. Now you've seen all the signs. And here's the part that stings. Most men will hear every single warning, nod along, and then ignore it. They'll go right back to the same woman who shows them every red flag I just described. Why? Because pain is addictive. Chaos feels like passion. And being alone feels scarier than being betrayed. So men convince themselves they're different. They tell themselves their love is special. They think they can change her. But let me tell you the truth. You're not different. Your love isn't magic. And she is not going to change. What's going to happen is exactly what I've said. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But eventually, she will betray you. And when it happens, you'll remember this. You'll remember these words. You'll remember that deep down. You always knew. You just didn't want to face it. So the real question isn't whether I'm right. The real question is what you're going to do now. Will you keep lying to yourself? Will you keep investing in a stock you know is going to crash? Will you keep building on quicksand, hoping this time the house will hold? Or will you finally raise your standards? Will you finally walk away from poison dressed in a pretty bottle? I know it sounds harsh. I know it sounds negative. But sometimes the most positive thing you can do is accept a negative reality. Sometimes the smartest move is avoiding a guaranteed loss. Sometimes the biggest win is walking away. The real secret to finding loyalty isn't fixing a broken woman. It's choosing one who was never broken to begin with. She won't be chasing attention online. She won't be in the clubs every weekend. She won't make you feel like you're in a movie. She'll be steady, stable, maybe even boring. But boring is safe. Boring is loyal. And boring won't destroy your life. So stop calling pain passion. Stop pretending you don't have a choice. You do. You always did. And your future self is begging you to finally use it. Choose wisely.